Hello everyone, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time on this channel, please subscribe. If not, welcome back. So in today's class we are going to be making a three-piece corset with a basque waistline. So first of all, we are just going to draft our basic bodice. The shoulder, I will be dropping the measurement of the shoulder on the screen of the body on the screen. So the shoulder of this person is 7, is 14, sorry, divide by 2, which is 7, then plus half an inch sewing allowance, stitching allowance. So you just mark that point there. Then we'll go for the neck width by 4. Then for the, depending on what you want, just mark it down. Then for the neck depth, go by 3. You can make it 5. Just depending on how deep you want the neck to be. But me, I want mine to be 3. This is not going. This is an off-shoulder corset, so it's not going to have a yoke. So just extend that point out and then connect it to the other point, more like a box. Then we measure our armhole. Our armhole is 8. Our arm, to measure the armhole, you just take your tape round your armhole, your armpit, then divide it. Anything you get, divide by 2. That's your armhole plus half an inch sewing allowance, so that you'll be able to have some space there. So now we've drawn our line. We'll have to come for the shoulder. So I'm going from our shoulder down by 1 inch, then we'll connect it to the neck, because you know our shoulder is not straight, so we just connect it so it have that slant effect. So when it sits on the shoulder, it will be balanced. Our shoulder is not like high. So now we are just going to do a freehand curve on the neck and the armhole area. So from the armpit now, to do the curve of the armpit, you divide your armhole, divide by 2. Then on that point you go in by half an inch. Then you come on the horizontal line and mark your bust point. The bust of this person is 40, divide by 4 is 10. So you mark the 3 points together. So like this, just mark it in a curved way. If you have a curved ruler, you can do this. It's going to be easy for you. So just mark it to that point. Connect the 3 dots together. Now we are going to draw the horizontal line for the bodies, so that we'll start drafting our corset. The bust point for this person is 10. The under bust is 13. While the half cut is 17, and the full length I'll be using 22 for the person. So now just join these 3 points. Then on this point now you measure 4. The 4 you see me measuring now is our that's our nipple to nipple measurement. The nipple to nipple measurement of this person is 7, divided by 2 is 3.5, then plus half an inch sewing allowance, that gives us 4. So I'm just going to place this on the bust point, the under bust, the half cut or the waistline, then the dress length, then connect the lines together, then draw my horizontal line too on the point I've marked before. So now on that part that I marked my dart, I'm just going to rule a straight line from the bust point down to the hip length. So now from the hip length, I'm going down by 2 inches for the allowance of the dress. So by the time I fold this in, I'll fold it in by 2 inches. That's basically it for drafting a basic bodice. So this part now is the allowance of the dress. So right now I'm going up from the bust point by 2 inches, but to be on a safer side, 2.5 inches upwards, so that I'll be able to get my chest line for this pattern. So I'm just going to draw the horizontal line for this chest too, towards the armpits and out to the edge of the paper. I'm also going to extend the dart upwards to where the chest line is. I'm marking my dart, so I'm just going to connect it now upwards. From the under bust now, I'm going in and out by one inch each, 1 inch in and out by 1 inch each, and I'm also going to extend it down to the hip length. Then I'll connect these 2 points to the bust point inwards by drawing a curve inwards. So I'm connecting it right now by drawing a curve inwards to meet the bust point. Then I'll do the same thing for the other part where I marked the 1 inch. So I'm practically extending the 1 inch on the half cut and the hip line, both on in and out. So I'm going to extend the line now downwards. So now from the chest line, I'm extending the line upwards by 1 inch. Now from the chest line also, I'm going down by 1 inch on the edge of the paper, then coming out by half and quarter of an inch. Then I will draw a straight line towards that end. So this will be the distance between the 2 cups. You understand? So now from that point, I'm just going to curve all the way to the under bust. So I'm practically taking my dart measurement, which is 4, and placing it on the other part, so I'll be able to make the other part of the curve. So I'm extending it upwards and drawing a straight line. Then from this point now, I'll curve it down to the under bust. Please don't get confused. Just do exactly what you see me doing, and your work will come out perfect. So now from this point that I extended upwards, I'm just going to connect it to the other point of the center of this corset, then to the armhole, more like a curve, a sweet heart shape. So now I'm labeling my corset. I labeled this part 1 and 2. Please label your corset whenever you are drafting a pattern so you don't mix them up when sewing them. So now to make the other part of the corset, I'm going half an inch up and down on the bust point. I'm also doing the same thing on the other side of the bust point by going half an inch up and down, then connecting it to the bust start point. But because I don't want a sharp edge, I'm going in and out by half inch from the bust point. Then I'll connect it, so I'll just give it that fine finishing so that it just smoothens in and we don't have any sharp edge around there. That's practically it. For then we have the third piece of our corset. I cannot wait to get this ready already. This is the third piece of our corset. So now we are going to take our body measurement. There are two ways to take in taking this body measurement. I'm just going to show you guys one. So now from this bust point, now I'm going to place our bust on it, our round bust on it. Our round bust is 10 plus 1.5 inches sewing allowance, that is 11.5, and that is what you see me marking right now. Then I'll extend it to the chest line, putting my 11.5 on that point. I'm just going to connect those two dots together, and then we cut this pattern paper before taking the rest measurement for the bodice, so we don't get you guys confused. So now I'm just going to show you the part I'll cut out by shading it like so. So this part I'm shading, or this shaded part rather, will be the part you will cut out of this pattern. You have to be careful when cutting this so that you don't go and cut the corset itself or the bra cup itself. As you can see, I'm drawing an arrow here to show that this part is facing up, and I'm also writing top to show that this is the top part of the bra cup. Please, whenever you are cutting your bra cup, indicate, number them so that you don't mix them up when you are sewing, because if you mix them up, your bra cup will not come out well. So please number them the way you know you understand. So right now I'm also drawing an arrow here to show that this part is the part that I will sew with the main fabric or the center front fabric, and this part I will sew with the center side fabric. Do you understand? Just do what works for you, but the cutting are the same. So in case you want to cut a corset that has a yoke, then you use this as the yoke, as the upper part of the body. You can use it to cut your skin net or whatever it is that you are going to attach to your corset dress. Remember, we've taken our measurements for the bust part, so we are going to take our measure. Sorry that I didn't know my camera was not on focus. I'll correct it now. So now we are going to take the measurements for the rest. We've taken for that of our bust, so we are going to take for that of our under bust, our half cut, and our hip length. Then we are going to cut the bodies for this pattern. Remember, we took out 1 1 inch. So I had to cut this out so that I'll be able to close them up, and then we will not get confused, because if I had taken the measurement earlier on, we'll be adding those 1 1 inch and it might get you confused. So now I'm just dividing my under bust round by 4, then add 1 1.5 inch allowance. I think it is easier this way, and we'll do the same thing for the half cut. Just add 1.5 inch allowance. Half our round waist, divide by 4 plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance. I'm going to drop the measurements, or what you will need to measure, on the screen. And we'll also do the same thing for the dress length. Right now, I'm going to join the whole point that you see me, that I've marked before. Don't mind the shape of this dress. This is normally how corset used to come out, because of the 1 1 inch allowance that we've taken out before. So now I'm just going to cut this out, and then we head to drafting and cutting of the back pattern. So bringing all of it together in one piece, this is how it's going to look like. This is the center front, the side front, and then the corset. If you want to attach your yoke, you can also attach your yoke. So right now, we are going to the business of the day. You know, earlier on I said that we were going to cut a past waistline. So now I'm just going to go from my waistline. I'm going to go down by 2 inches from my waistline. I'm going to go down on my half cut rather by 2 inches, then connect that point to form this edge. You understand? I'm just going to cut it to form a triangular form, and then we are going to give 1 inch sewing allowance from that point that we drew that line downwards, and we are also going to give 1 inch sewing allowance on the other point, then connect the 2 points together. Then we'll practically cut this out. So that is that about that. After cutting this, our corset is ready. We just have to transfer it to our fabric, and then ta-da, you have your corset tube. Now in drafting the back, I've already gone ahead to draft out the basic, the neck, the armhole, then drawing my horizontal. So now I'm just placing my darts on the horizontal lines, and then I'll connect it. I'll connect the marks, the points that I have marked. I'll connect it upward. So right now, on the half cut, we are going to go in and out by half an inch, half an inch. Only on the half cut, I made a mistake here. We shouldn't have gone in and out by half an inch. You just leave it like that. You only go in and by half an inch on the half cut, and then you connect from the bust point to the half cut where you've come out half an inch. Then you connect it to the dress point, not on that point that I marked, on the previous line, on the dart line. So right now we are just going to take our body measurements, the bust, the half cut, and then the dress length. Then when we finish, just your bust divide by 4 plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance. When you get to the half cut, it is your half cut divided by 4 plus 1.5 inch allowance and plus 1 of the darts that you took out before. Do you understand? The half inch that you took out from the dart, you are going to replace it, which is 1. So you're going to replace 1 on it. Your half cut divided by 4 plus 1 of the darts that you took out, and then plus 1.5 inch sewing allowance, and then you just put your darts for your hiplet. Your bodice, I mean, for your hiplet. So now those points that I marked, I'm just going to connect them together like this. And next on, we are going to create our basque waistline. That's practically it. So I made a mistake here. We were supposed to come down just the way we did from the front, from the waistline by 2 inches. We were supposed to come down from the waistline by 2 inches. They add 1 inch sewing allowance, that is 3. But I went up by 3. Can you imagine? Then added a sewing allowance. So it was when I was sewing this that I realized that they were not equal. So please take note. Just go down by 2 inches from the waistline, then add 1 inch sewing allowance. That is practically it. Don't do the mistake that I did, please. So now I want my back neck to be a v-neck, so I'm just going to come down from my neck width down to my chest line. Don't pass, then draw a horizontal line across the zip allowance. Meanwhile, I did not say this earlier. This line that you see me starting with is my zip allowance, because this is going to be having a zip and not a loop, or a shoelace. So now I'm practically cutting out the pattern for the back piece. And also cutting out the shaded parts of the back pattern. Then we cut out our yoke. That's basically it for cutting a back pattern. So please guys, like, share, comment, and let me know what you think about this tutorial. Please subscribe if you've not subscribed. Thank you very much.